Hey guys, and today we're out in the bedding area that I've worked on. I had spring deer bedding work and I did some videos on that, but this is just going to be like a summer update on the switchgrass and how everything is growing. As you can see, here's our switchgrass right here. We've got a lot. We've gotten good germination in this. Got some little new ones coming in. But I planted, I think in April or May, and it's just started to come up. So if you're looking at this in late May or early June and you don't see a lot, then it's probably going to come up most of the time. It's going to come up in late July or early July, late June, because I saw like nothing here. There was not a single thing of grass, and now there's grass pretty much everywhere. See those big ones over here. But if you don't see them coming up, then you probably just need to wait a little bit longer. But in bare spots like this that didn't get germinated, or that didn't germinate, there's some little stuff coming up. It might still take it a little bit to come up, because I've heard like in August sometimes it'll come up. So you might need to wait a little bit longer. And if you get strips like this with no switchgrass, switchgrass regrows. When it gets to maturity, it gets seeds on it, and then they fall back down and they grow new switchgrass. But once you get a thick establishment of switchgrass, then it might shade out the new switchgrass, so it won't grow because it's not getting enough sun. But if you have a thick establishment of switchgrass, that's your whole goal, is to get that. So you don't really need that extra switchgrass. Now you can see there's a lot of weeds in here, and we usually mow about 12 inches high. This is really tall. We've gotten a lot of rain, so we couldn't get the tractor back here. But hopefully we're going to do that soon. And we've actually had deer come in this. I just spooked up a doe bedded around here. I didn't know if it was exactly bedded back here. Our dog spooked it. But I saw a really little fawn track over here yesterday. I was just going to see if I could find it. But yeah, we've gotten some good switchgrass right through here. Really good switchgrass right through here. And then also the pampas grass is over here, and it's doing really well. We have pampas grass. It's really hard to find. Oh, here it is. So our pampas grass is growing really tall. I'd say that's at least 4 foot right there. That's one of the tallest ones. So I think I planted that pretty late. I think that was in May I planted that, and it's really tall. I've got another one over here. It's pretty much the same height right here. But the red osier dogwood, which will provide the deer browse while they're bedded, because deer need food while they're bedded. You can't just make a bedding area without any food. But when I say that, I don't mean make this whole half bedding and then make this food plot. I mean make it all bedding and put things that deer like to eat, like blackberries. Those are only in the spring, because obviously they don't stay within the winter. So if you want deer to stay here during the spring, you need to plant blackberries. So they stay here during the spring. They have browse in the spring. And then red osier dogwood. As you can see, my red osier dogwood did not do very good. We got them too late in the year, and I just don't think they grew they didn't have enough chance to grow. So I'm going to reorder some red osier dogwood here soon. I'm going to put it all through this place. But you have to have browse while they're bedded. So right now we don't have any browse. So that means they're not going to stay here the whole afternoon. They're going to get up, go over here to go look for food when you don't want them to. And I've got some dogwood right here too. So I'm going to reorder some and plant that. But overall, the switchgrass is doing really good. We really need to mow it. But yeah, got some deer tracks in here. And it's really shielding off this field. So this is doe bedding right here. This is all doe bedding. You have to have doe bedding before you have buck bedding. We've got a pretty good buck bed in here. Usually they don't bed close together, but I've had bucks in here bed just because it's doe bedding and it's close to a food source, like these beans right here. Just because it's close to a food source and it's doe bedding does not mean that a buck will not bed in the doe bedding. He doesn't prefer it, but if he wants to, if he has to, he can bed in this. My 10-point buck that I shot last year, he had a trail camera set up on one of those trees over here. He came in and he bedded in this, and it wasn't even switchgrass at the time. It was goldenrod. And this is in the middle of November during the rut. So all these weeds weren't here. It was just goldenrod. You can see some of the old goldenrod right here. But he'll still bed in this even though it's not very thick cover. But like right now, these weeds, the deer will bed in these weeds. I've even had them bed right next to a mock scrape. But because if you look how great of shielding that is. It'll block them from the wind. It'll block them from predators. And once the switchgrass gets in here, they can bed within this, and the switchgrass will protect them. Deer don't prefer to bed in switchgrass. They prefer to bed inside of a circle of switchgrass or next to switchgrass. They won't like bed right here in the middle of the switchgrass. They can, but usually they don't. They would bed in here. Now, we have buck bedding over here, in here, and then I've actually spooked up a couple bucks. I spooked up a buck that I wanted to shoot 2 years ago, but I had a 9-point instead of him. He was an 8-point at the time, so I shot the 9-point. I actually saw both of them the same night, but he was 200 yards away, and I wasn't going to take a shot at him, especially here in Illinois where you don't have rifles. So if I had a rifle, I'd probably shoot at him, but since we're doing shotgun, I would not take a shot at him. But buck bedding over here, and then we've got another buck bed about maybe 400 yards over here, maybe even more than that. And then, yeah, they've bedded back there, or they bed in here. And same goes with buck bedding. Just because you have doe bedding and they bed 20 yards from a food source, which is typically what they'll do, doesn't mean that they won't go to the buck bed. So we have a really thick establishment of switchgrass in here. And look at this switchgrass. This is all switchgrass. I'm pretty sure this is all switchgrass. But we're going to mow this, and hopefully it'll come back up. Because I know that I put at least twice as much seed on this spot than I did over here. And you can see, look at all this switchgrass and look at all that. So this is a lot taller. It's shaded out most of the weeds actually. But yeah, we've had a couple deer bedded back here, not very much since we mowed it, or since we've tilled it up and it's not grown up really high yet. But I'm thinking by August we'll have a pretty good amount of switchgrass. We're going to mow it hopefully here soon with the tractor and the brush hog. But yeah, I think this will be a really good spot. I've got my stand right here, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a good shot into here. Been practicing with the bow at 30 yards, so we're probably 30 yards is around here somewhere. So I'll almost be able to shoot to the middle of it if I can get a shot off. But I'm thinking that they're going to come in from in here, right here, and then come in. So I might not get shots off, but that's okay. I just like seeing the deer bed and doing all that. So I might get some shots off. This will be a good morning stand. I've never had a morning stand that's been good here, because as you can see, we have mostly ag land and not very much woods. So they don't really like to stay here in the morning. But this, if you don't have big woods like I do, you only got a little bit of woods, then this is the perfect thing for you. Just because you have a little bit of woods doesn't mean that deer won't bed in your woods. I've still see them bed in my woods. But this will be overall better for your land if you don't have big open hardwoods. Big, a lot of trees. So, and my other place that I hunt is a really good place. It's all hardwoods. There's actually a field right in the middle of the woods, which is awesome because the deer love it. They feel protected there and everything. And I actually hunted that spot, shot my first deer out of that spot in that field. But the deer will bed down in the woods anywhere, even here. If you've got good wind, if they feel comfortable, they feel protected, then they're going to bed down in your woods, no matter if you have a little strip of trees, which is pretty much what we have, and then if you have big open hardwoods. So I hope that helps, and we'll see what this spot does. I'll probably do another fall update on this when it gets to be there, maybe August or September before deer season. And then hopefully I'll have a ladder stand set up right there. The glare is kind of bad, but right there. And then I'll have my camera set up, so hopefully I can get a couple shots off in this spot.